I made a game, a Deadfellas game once, like an infinite runner where you jump over tombstones and you duck under bats. I'm not going to win any awards for it, but it was silly.
Not with that attitude. Very elderly people exposing themselves.
We don't judge here, Tab.
I didn't know Brits love pancakes so much.
The American pancake is not the British pancake. British pancake is also not the French crepe. Family Guy is where I get most of my understanding of America.
This is the content that people want.
Episode 2 of the 40-Year-Old Degen podcast. And we're recording a couple of days after the first one came out. And literally tens of people, Taco, have seen the show, and they've all been very polite about our group therapy session that we put on the internet. But it's been nice to connect with a lot of people, right? Let's be honest. Most of the people are from the Gala community, and it's nice to get them back into chatting with us again, trick them back into chatting with us. There have been a few people that have just seen us on YouTube, and they've joined just because they think we're a couple of cool guys. So that's been my favorite bit about all of this.
Yeah, I will take tens of quality people over dozens of lesser people.
And it was very nice to see Bucks in the comments as well. I quote her daily, actually. She said something very profound to me, which maybe not daily, all right, that was a horrible over-exaggeration, but weekly, definitely. She once said to me, "Hope is a shit strategy." So deeply profound that I regularly roll that one out for people. It's funny how often humans fall into that trap.
It's a shit strategy, but it's a good lifestyle, isn't it?
I mean, yes, it's a good place to start off proceedings, but yes, I'm not gonna argue with her, Taco. She's much more clever than me. Are we going to talk about the market again? Because last time we recorded, the market was in the toilet, and then it recovered. We got back up to 100 grand Bitcoin, and now it's in the toilet again. Is it us?
Yeah, I thought for sure that having a crypto summit at the White House was going to solve everything. I love a good summit. I'm more of a conference guy myself. I haven't graduated to summit level, and I don't know what's the real difference. It's just who's there speaking, right? Like it's like the difference between a priest and a cardinal. Is that kind of a thing? Like, yes, you're a church or you're a cathedral, and there's certain rules about it. But I don't go to summits. I go to conferences.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. I think for me, if I was invited to a summit, I would need to wear a suit, and that's not going to happen. Whereas if I am going to a conference, I'm in chinos, I'm in trainers, I'm in a black hoodie, I'm wearing some freshly minted 40-year-old Degen merch, of course.
Of course. Yeah, I thought, what's the old saying? I wouldn't want to go to a summit that would have me as a guest.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah, but they did great work, apparently. They summited the hell out of it.
Somebody pocketed several $1 million on a really lovely timed trade. So maybe that's what the summit was all about.
No, that had to have just been coincidence, Hutch. You don't think that was colluded?
I would never suggest such nefarious activities. But hey, look, somebody got their bag. That's the important thing.
That is the important thing. And listen, I'm not going to pretend if I was running in those circles and someone at the summit was like, "Hey, right now is a good time to go buy a bag of XYZ. I would do it. I'm not above that. It's easy for someone in my position to say, "Oh, no, I would never profit off a situation like that." I absolutely would. I just can't right now because I don't run in those circles. Right?
I also don't have a spare $2 million to leverage on Bybit.
No, I guess as a starting point, maybe if I did, then I could run in those circles. It's almost as if it's based on money.
Who would have thought? Maybe that's
Yeah.
what it takes to be invited to a summit. You need to have a clear 2 million ready to leverage trade.
I like that we're getting to the bottom of this.
Right, in all the world's wrongs. You have a list of things that we should talk about today. And I closed that thing on my phone, but let me go back to them now because there's some interesting things in here. And then you got a really good DGen mailbag thing from Las Vegas Lance. Very strange thing for a British person to say. Las Vegas Lance.
Is that a tongue twister?
I mean, it appears to be. I think we found one. But also, I hear it. You know that guy who does the boxing announcing?
Yes.
That's how I hear. Oh, Las Vegas Lance. That's how I hear it in my head.
That's how he introduces himself. So I think you're onto something there.
That was intuition then. I intuited that. Oh, you went on a really cool trip, a really cool sounding trip. Yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit because there are places in America that I definitely don't want to go, but there are places in America that I really do want to go, and this location is on that list.
So, as is the premise of this podcast / lifestyle brand, we're of a certain age now where we should start thinking about doing the things that we really want to do. And I have been to New Orleans before, but I have never been to Mardi Gras. And that was on my list. And so this year I said, I'm doing the thing. I'm going to Mardi Gras. I do recommend it. I also just recommend New Orleans as a city to visit. It's great food. It's a cool nightlife. It's a really fun history. And if you want to take that up a level, I suggest going during Mardi Gras. I don't party quite like I used to party. Again, 40-year-old Degens. I was there with two of my mates. All the nights we were there, we were back at the Airbnb by 10 or 10:30 because we just can't do it anymore. I went for the parades more than anything. I love the pageantry. And in New Orleans for Mardi Gras, there's a bunch of different crews, like these groups they're essentially social clubs. And they all have their own parades, which are their own floats. And it's really cool to be a part of that vibe where you're with thousands and thousands of other people standing alongside the road while these trucks drive by and throw beads at you. But it doesn't feel competitive. If you happen to catch the stuff, that's great. But no one's like trying to get people out of the way. I didn't see anybody get hurt. Everyone's just having a good time, which I think was really nice.
And what is Mardi Gras? What are they celebrating? What's that?
That Tuesday is Fat Tuesday, which is the day before Lent begins. And so it's the big go party, get a bunch of stuff out of your system, because then you're going to be Lent fasting for 40 days. 40 days, right?
See, we have a similar holiday in the UK, but it's called Pancake Day.
Yeah. It was the same premise, right? You want to load up on, in our case, it's booze. In your case, it's pancakes. It was called Fat Tuesday because you were eating fatty foods and getting all that out of the way. So yeah, I didn't know. I heard about Pancake Day. I didn't know Brits loved pancakes so much.
Let's be very specific about this. The American pancake is not the British pancake. But the British pancake is also not the French crepe. It sits in this kind of weird middle ground between the two. It's thicker than a crepe. Like a crepe is very thin, right? You've had a crepe, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's very thin. Imagine something that is somewhere in between an American pancake and that, but it's fried in a frying pan till it's crispy around the edges. And then you pour lemon and sugar, in most cases, on said pancake. I've never heard Pancake Day or Shrove Tuesday called Fat Tuesday. That's an Americanism that I've not come across before. I like it though. I'm going to use it.
I've been to the UK several times, and I don't remember ever seeing pancakes on the menu anywhere, as if it's a different thing. I love that it's in between what we do and what the French do, but it's not a part of your traditional breakfast, right? Is it like a special treat, or do you eat them normally?
Yeah, it's almost exclusively on Pancake Day, I have to be honest. It's the British full English is a savory breakfast. Anything sweet involved in there would be abhorrent. Yeah, I feel like exclusively in my life I have eaten pancakes in or around Pancake Day. So it doesn't really feature in the normal set of. It's not on the menu everywhere. It actually is on the menu in a couple of places near me, but very rarely ordered. It's not. We don't go in for the waffles and all that kind of stuff. But Pancake Day is almost exclusively when those are consumed.
I, as an American, would love a full English, but also with a pancake on the side.
Oh,
yeah.
It hurt me to hear that. I don't know what. I think primarily because the taste of pancake is actually it's the same batter recipe as a Yorkshire pudding, but it specifically is tied to lemon and sugar. And the idea of lemon and sugar and bacon, yeah, I'm gonna have to file that under the grotesque things that come out of America. It's that blend of sweet and savory.
That feels, but that's very Waffle House. Like you have a waffle with syrup, but then you also have bacon, sausage, cheesy greens, hash browns, or cheesy eggs, hash browns, like all the things. Like we want all of it.
Cheesy greens.
Cheesy eggs, sorry. Oh. There's nothing green served at Waffle House ever. I misspoke. No, that's a different breakfast. I don't know where they would do that. Somewhere in the Caribbean, maybe. I don't know. Not here.
Nothing of nutritional value comes out of a Waffle House. And again, I feel like I've heard so much about Waffle House, and yet I've never visited. So that is on the. And actually, we have a podcast now. We have a reason to go and visit a Waffle House together and shoot content. So put it on the bucket list. Let's go. We're going to do a meetup in a Waffle House.
Yeah, I don't know what number. Maybe our 50th podcast, we do it at a Waffle House as like a benchmark thing you have to do. And then for our 100th, I'll come to the UK and we'll do it from a Greg's. Is that the...
Well, Greg's, you don't really sit in a Greg's. People do, but you don't want to be sat in a Greg's. But yes, we can have sausage rolls, fresh sausage rolls from Greg's. Or we can go to a Wetherspoons. That I think is probably more Waffle House adjacent because you do sit in those. It is very low rent food, but it will be an interesting experience for you, I'm sure.
Excellent. This is the content that people want.
I looking back at our last podcast as well, I realize just how dry you are and how much of the podcast is me just laughing at the stuff that you say. So your dry takes on things are phenomenal and I love them. I love you. I was having this conversation with someone the other day, and there are so many podcasts in the Web3 space that are just like, here's a token call, and here's the next project, and this is what you got to. And it feels like work. It feels like going in. It doesn't feel like the shooting the shit with your friends afterwards. And that, to be fair, that's all we're qualified to do.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Here it is.
Yeah. If you had asked me to be on a podcast where we did the real work, I would not have been interested. I can't, because I'd have to learn how all that works. And then I would have to be confident in calls. And that's just not, I can't do it.
And people would be keeping track of it.
Yeah.
You can't hide.
Yeah.
You can't hide in that sphere. It's very difficult.
No. I would much rather talk about the bead economy at Mardi Gras.
So tell me about the beads then. What beads? I know the joke from Family Guy, right? And Family Guy is where I get most of my understanding of America.
Yeah, if anyone outside the US gets their information about us from Family Guy, they're 90% of the way there, which I think is fine. We've all seen in movies and TV beads being thrown around at Mardi Gras. In the old part of New Orleans, there's a street called Bourbon Street, which is the big party street. And everyone's hanging out. And if you're walking through during Mardi Gras, up on the second floor, there's a lot of places, windows and different spots you can be to throw beads down to people. And traditionally, party goers will expose themselves for these beads, which is, I don't know where it started. I should probably look that up, but it's pretty fascinating because the beads aren't really worth anything. If you go to any of the parades, you can catch tons of them. Like they're throwing the beads off of the floats and you catch them and then you own them. They're free. Or go to the store or go on Amazon and they're plastic necklaces. They're not worth anything. But on Bourbon Street, they take on this magic quality where people will do things for them, which is really interesting. But you have to be on the second floor on like a balcony, throwing them down. You can't hand them to somebody on the street. And you can't pick them up off the ground because they're all over the ground. And so universally, like you don't pick those up because, well, they would be super, super dirty. And you catch them from people above you. And it's just a really wild scene where people will try to, men and women, everybody, what do I have to do for you to give me these beads, which have no value except for right here in this really strange exchange?
So just clarify for me, because you said people expose themselves for these. Now that means something very specific in the UK. They are revealing parts of their body in order to receive the beads.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. So all the different kinds of flashings you'll see in order to get beads. And my friends and I met a guy at a breakfast spot who was in a jazz band at a bar that had a balcony. He invited us there and gave us balcony access because we're charming. And across from that bar, like the state police were set up on there, like a whole contingent squad of state police were there on motorcycles, probably a dozen of them. And right in front of them are men and women catching beads, exposing themselves right in front of the cops. And it was like, this is what we do here. It's totally fine. Don't even worry about it. So it's pretty wild. I didn't partake in either of those. I wasn't trying to give people beads. I wasn't exposing myself. I didn't have quite enough to drink.
We don't judge here.
Interesting to see it.
We don't judge here, Taco.
No, I know.
I find America a very fascinating place because very conservative in a lot of ways. And yet there are just little pockets of madness, of silliness, which I respect. And I imagine it's similar in that we have cheese throwing competitions in the UK. And I feel like that's a similar vibe, that those are just like little pockets of madness that come out of the culture being one way.
Yeah. And it's couples where the husbands are like, yeah, go ahead, sweetie. It's all ages. It was some very elderly people exposing themselves and just having the best time ever. I don't know. Maybe it's just a place where everyone knows I can go here and not be inhibited or judged for any of that. It's just like a fun thing to do. I don't know. Maybe if I go back, I will expose myself. Who's to say? Although now I'm a celebrity. So I probably can't now. It'll be all over the papers.
Oh, the press will have a field day, Taco. As you can see, I'm wearing some wonderful 40-year-old Degen merchandise. And I've decided that I don't like the font that this is in. I much prefer the bold font. It's a Kira, actually, that we're using for all of our marketing. I much prefer that because I got this in the mail, special order, obviously. I put it on and I turned to my wife and I said, what do you think of our new merch? And she went, you went with Comic Sans. And it cut me so deep, Taco, that now I can't even look at this logo. I need the bold one.
That's oof. Yeah, you can't say that to a man. It's funny. I just replaced a bunch of my tiles for the wall for this show. And one of them I got, you can see up right above Angsty Me, is our logo.
Oh, yeah.
In common. You can't really see it. And I unpacked and I'm putting it up and I thought, this is not going to do. And yeah, you're confirming that now. It's not. I'm going to have to replace that.
It's impossible to read. I quite like it on a shirt. Like I liked it on the shirt because it feels, I don't know, it feels more lifestyle brandy than the bold one, but you can't read it. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. I see also you have a short fuse bomb up there.
I do.
Which I like. I want to do a quick, this is not a paid shill, but those guys are running a Discord ad competition where the more people you add, you get custom characters to play in the game, which I think is a really cool idea. Go into that, find their Discord. Oh, what if we put their link and we get the custom characters? Could we do that? Oh, yeah, okay. I'll put a link in for short views then. And then you can go, and the more people you invite, the more cool stuff that you get. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking that if a small enough number of people get the top prize, maybe they'll do some custom ones. And then I thought, maybe if we big them up enough, they'll do a custom Hutch and Taco one.
Okay, that's my actual dream. The guys from Short Fuse a lot of them came from the Vox project, where I may have been promised a custom Vox at one point or another. It's not important now. I've moved past it, but it's, for me, would have been like, chef's kiss. And so if we could make that happen, that would be
Did you amazing. Not get one?
No. I got that taco chicken, but I was going to get like a one of one just for me Vox, which would have been really nice. Yeah, I like those guys. I'm helping them do some community stuff. They're super interested in being as good to the community as possible, which is important to me, obviously. So yeah, they're doing some fun stuff. I like them. So I put them on the wall.
I hate to break it to you. I did get a custom Hutch Vox. Not an on-chain one.
Not on-chain.
No, they just made me, because they were doing all of the team ones, and I saw it, and I know the art guy, and I talked him into it. Let's talk to him, and let's see if we can get one for you, because I think that I certainly got a kick out of seeing myself immortalized in voxel form.
Yeah, I just have a huge ego, and so for me, anytime I can get something like that, I need it.
I hear. Talk us through some of the other arts that you've got up there. Is there anything fun or special? Are those NFTs or are those?
Yeah, I decided to go with mostly different NFTs. These are NFTs that I own. You can see the corner of my dead fella.
Nice.
There. That's my Pirate Nation. This is Game GPT, an AI thing. This guy is a Delta. I don't know if Mr. Man-Bear Pig, it's a project he is involved with. It's a wicked cranium down here. This is one of my HC hogs. I don't know if you're familiar with the hogs. Those guys are amazing. So on again with the wall. And it's a picture of me and Satoshi Siren at a Waffle House wearing our taco baseball jerseys.
Oh, lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Satoshi Siren has been in the Discord a lot and in the YouTube comments, which we appreciate.
She's the best.
I've never met her, so I can't endorse her, and I won't endorse her. But I have heard good things.
You don't give endorsements until you meet someone IRL.
The Hutch stamp of approval is my word and my honor. And I would never, I couldn't be so frivolous with it as to give somebody I've never met or spoken to other than a Discord server.
That's fair.
Level of
that's fair. Yeah, I've met a lot of people.
You do a lot of IRLs, don't you?
Yeah, I've met a lot at conferences or different events. And so I throw around my stamp of approval like it's nothing, like it's a British pancake.
Like it's beads at Mardi Gras.
Like it's Mardi Gras bees. Yes, that's exactly. Yeah.
You've got the Degen mailbag this week, haven't you? Last week we had RNG crypto. This week we've got Las Vegas Lance.
Yeah, I love mailbags. As a general rule, I added a mailbag channel to our Discord. I didn't even ask permission. I just did it in case people want to ask questions in there for us.
It's as much yours as it is mine. I think that's a great idea. Are there any in there? Should we go and have a look?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't follow up by looking to see if anybody wrote in there.
Mailbag questions, none.
Oh, I just put it in there.
There are literally tens of people have seen our show. We would like questions, please. And
join our Discord. Ask us questions.
There is a whole realm of questions that we are not legally allowed to answer. And I'd really get a kick out of seeing those in the Degen mailbag. I want you to get. I want the deepest, most thought-provoking questions you've got, please.
For this show, or do you want to have a separate show that's Degens After Dark where we answer all the other ones?
Taco, this is why you were the person to partner with, because you are at heart a media mogul.
Can that be a series of shorts, Degens After Dark?
It could be, but I also like the idea of like questions we can't answer, where we just read the question and then we look knowingly into the camera like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where most of the time they know the answer already. Yeah. So from Las Vegas Lance, who I'm going to be seeing.
You've got to say it properly.
Oh, yeah, I gotcha. From Las Vegas Lance. Not bad. Beautiful. Who I'm going to be seeing in a couple of weeks when I go to Las Vegas.
Lovely. Oh, he actually lives in Las Vegas. That makes sense.
Dox him? He might, maybe not. I don't know. Sorry, Lance.
From Arizona.
His name is even Lance. Lance asks, do you have a favorite NFT?
Oh, like a collection or single NFT?
I think it must be, let's go single NFT.
Oh, then yes, I do. Gosh, back before I worked for Gala, I had another crypto persona. Nothing that was particularly well known, but it was just all of my NFTs were under that one persona. And there was a very early on, 2021, after the apes had launched, people were getting into art, but most of the art that you could buy was programmatic 10K collections. I stumbled across this wonderful illustrator, and I don't want to dox that old wallet, so I won't go into too many details, but she made these beautiful drawings, and I bought one of them for $2,000, I think. And it was the first one that she'd sold, and she sent me a message on Discord afterwards because she worked out who I was through the thingamajig. And there was an outpouring of gratitude that, like, you know, and it made me realize how important to artists it is to make sure that recognition for their art and making money from art, how important that was, and really solidified for me how life-changing this technology could be, because there aren't many ways to apply that trade. If you're a very specialist and niche artist, you are stuck to either getting illustration gigs or building enough of a following around you for that art to be very valuable. And doing that is a really difficult, expensive process. And in those early days of the crypto market, there was just attention being poured into NFTs. And I'm pretty sure she made a year's salary, that year from NFT sales alone. But it really meant a lot to her. I spent a lot of money on other NFTs that were not run by nice artists and were run by scam artists. But I try not to think of those. I think about the nice one for that wonderful illustrator. So I'm not going to show you the NFT again, but it really means a lot to me. And I bought it at a really particular time where it had a lot of meaning. And it was a lovely little illustration. One of one.
So none of my NFTs are worth very much money. Most of them, as we've discussed, are worth really nothing now. And so it's really, for me, it's my favorite NFTs are the ones that are attached to different communities or projects that I support. Mm-hmm. Like the hogs I've got up there. If you don't know the HC hogs, hostile crypto hogs, for me, there's an ideal Web3 community because it is truly about the community. And these guys love each other and support each other, and they're super welcoming of everybody. Viscid Flow, who's part of their community, gifted me a hog, but then I actually paid for the one that's on the wall. Just super nice, genuine guys. And I feel like that's what I want the space to be about. So that's probably the collection I like. It's not like a $1 trillion collection, but for me, it's worth more than $1 trillion because, again, it's the friends we make along the way, Hutch.
That's it. That's it. Them's the bags we were all really after. Just good friends.
Right?
I like that. I thought there was a moment there where you were saying, like, I really like the community because it's really all about hogs. But you were saying about the community. These guys love hogs. Tell what's is it just good art? Is it just lovely people? Like, what's the vibe? I'm gonna have to look at these.
It's lovely people.
I'm gonna buy one.
Yeah. It's lovely people who you'd maybe be surprised to learn how lovely they are because they model themselves after a motorcycle club. I met up with a bunch of them last year at NFT NYC, and they were wearing like leather motorcycle jackets, but the patch on the back wasn't a motorcycle club, it's the Hogs Club. But a lot of them are on the intimidating side, like they look like they could be bikers, but the sweetest group of people that you'll ever meet. And yeah, it's more just about the community and the camaraderie and the support they give to other groups. Like they're intertwined with a lot of other NFT projects that all kind of support each other, which is, I think, really nice.
Yeah, I love that. There is a wonderful, like, I was saying this to somebody earlier, actually, that the moment the bear market hit in 22, there was a type of person that just immediately left the space. Mm-hmm. And the people that stuck around, they peeled off month after month. But the people that were here right at the bottom of the bear market are the ones that I still chat to daily, right? Like the people that stuck around, this was never about money necessarily. It was, this has just become a strap line now for our thing. Like, maybe it was the friends we made along the way. Yeah. Anyway, back to the mailbag. Have we got another good one from?
I actually have a mailbag question
specifically for me. Okay.
For you. I showed Mrs. Taco the promo for the podcast, and she said, "What is a degen?" She has been very supportive of me being a part of Web3, but she's not involved in Web3. She doesn't do any of this, doesn't know what this stuff is. How would you describe a degen without making it sound bad? Because I tried to describe it, and it's like, how can I make this not sound like I'm financially irresponsible? It's, oh, wait a minute. Should I aspire to be, like, you don't aspire to be a degen, you're a degen or not, and I am. What's the positive spin on this, Hutch?
Yes, there's a word for this kind of thing, and I forget what it is. But it's not a metaphor, it's a malaphor, something like that. But degen in the original Latin, degen means degenerate gambler. And that was, back in the day, we used to throw that around at each other as a joke, right? It was us understanding that the thing that we were doing was very risky. And so to make ourselves feel better about it, but also to feel part of a group, we would call each other degens, because what we should have done, and we joked about this in the last episode, we should have invested in the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ or the FTSE 100. We should have done sensible things with our money, and we didn't. And much like you and me, it's a self-deprecating thing. Like, we're not actually degenerately gambling, but the thing that we are doing is slightly risky. And so to make ourselves and the people around us feel better about that, we lovingly refer to ourselves as degenerate gamblers.
High risk tolerant, and I may have lost some money, but I'm doing it in a loving, friendly way.
Like you pointed out last week, you only lose if you sell, right? You only lose if you... Have you seen that picture of the cabinet with all the plates against the glass? That only realizes itself. Until then, it's some kind of Schrodinger's cat of good or bad. It could either be good or bad. We don't know. The position's down, but it could turn around. Yeah.
And it will.
And it will. something else will happen. Something else will change. Yeah, I think, funny enough, my wife asked me the same thing. She's, what's a degen? Wow, so let me tell you. But it's like we often refer to ourselves as being idiots or stupid. We're not actually, but we're joking that the thing that we do is probably a bit silly. And yeah, I feel like I've over-explained it now because I'm getting defensive about actually being a degenerate gambler.
It's fine, baby. Don't worry about it.
Thanks, babe. Okay, here's another one from Las Vegas Lads. Las Vegas Lads! Which community or project are you most excited for personally? Other than this, obviously. He knows how to flatter a guy.
Yeah, this is the top one I'm most excited about, obviously.
To the moon. We're going to the moon.
I am keeping my eye on the Good Vibes Club, which is minting today. There could not be a worse time to mint than, I think, today. Right? As we're recording, the market is in shambles.
It's in the toilet.
It's in the toilet, but they did a ton in pre-sale. So the way they're doing it is over the course of a day, they had the whitelist of pre-sale for people who qualified for the first bunch of mints. And then the second part of it, the public sale, they're doing as an auction where you go in and you can bid, and then the top however many bids end up winning the mint. And I'm on my other, I have a separate degen computer. And on that computer right now, in the public sale, there are 2,714 that are available. So far, they've got 655 bids in. They're still over 7 hours, so plenty of time. But that's on top of the, 4,000 that they've already sold. So they've already had a great day. I'm hoping it mints out for them. I don't know a ton about the... Yeah, there you go.
These they?
Those are they. I don't know a ton about the project, but it's exciting to see an NFT project that's, it's on the worst possible day. They appear to be doing really well, even if it doesn't mint out. And the mint is like the minimum bid is 0.069 ETH. So it's not like a $3 mint. Really great art. I was in their Discord earlier. Seems like a really strong Discord. And so I'm rooting for Good Vibes Club.
I love it. I love it. Mine is going to be disappointingly ill-informed because I don't really keep an eye on the emerging market of NFTs anymore. And maybe I should, because it did bring me a lot of joy. But I hold fast that the NFT project to be involved with is Deadfellas. They minted in that first year. They have stuck to their guns. They've delivered awesome thing after awesome thing. The art is still lovely. And they've got exciting things on the horizon. You know, I made a game, a Deadfellas game once. I have a Deadfellas.
You made one?
I made one, yeah. It's like an infinite runner where you jump over tombstones and you duck under bats. And
where do I play it?
I think I did host it somewhere. I'll send you the link. I'll put a video in the Discord. But it's not like it's not an intense game, right? Like I'm not going to win any awards for it, but it was silly.
Not with that attitude.
Oh, Taco, you slay me. Oh, any good stuff we need to end on? Maybe we should also plug that if you want to sponsor this nonsense, you can reach out to us in the Discord.
Are we not already being sponsored by someone? I assume that was already being handled.
We've got our own line of merch, and irons are in the fire. We obviously, no one's going to come on here and pump their latest mint, but I feel like there's a nice little lane for us in those crypto tax plug in and play things. Like, we're a little bit older, a little bit more sensible. We're doing our taxes.
Yeah. So our ideal sponsors are Waffle House, first and foremost, obviously.
Yeah.
Or tax companies.
Yeah. And to be honest, I'm just going to throw Blue Chew in there as well, because they seem to have everybody else, and that fits with the brand, right?
Yeah. Casper mattresses.
Casper mattresses. Yeah, we'll do some of that. Squarespace. We'll have a bit of that.
Yeah.
a little bit of that Squarespace money.
I love this. Yeah, listen, my wife is a photographer who hosts on Squarespace. I'm a Squarespace user.
That's basically the read right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do taxes anymore. We don't have to. But if I did, I would use a tax company.
I heard about that. Didn't they dissolve the IRS or something?
We're working on it. It's close enough that I figure, you know what? I won't do it. And if I get a call about it next year, I'll say, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was still supposed to.
I think that's reasonable. That was silly. That was very funny. That got me. Cool. All right. Let's wrap it up.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.